just now leaving work, right? And I've got 2 stories for y'all today. One rude one and one... Oh, not turning. Okay, cool. One rude one just generally weird one. And I also just realized that I left my cup inside and my manager with the key just left. So she's staying overnight and we're gonna hope that the openers don't do anything with it. So, fingers crossed. We'll start out with a weird one because she's just a girl, right? I'm guessing, let's see, she looked like she was in a rough mid-20s. I'll say that. Rough mid-20s, maybe late 20s. But she looked like she could have been in her mid-30s. But I'm thinking she was in her late 20s. So, she comes in, and the first thing, she has a little puppy in her arm, which is so sweet. He's a little French bulldog mix, but he looks super soft. The first thing she asks for me is if I know if we have any of the green Mike and Ikes. She said, "Do you have Mike and Ikes?" And I said, "I think we do." And she said, "Are they the green ones?" And I was like, I don't know. I can show you where I see them. I can show you where we have them. And so I took her over and I was like, "Oh, well, this one's called the quote-unquote mega mix." So I'm guessing it was like every flavor of Mike and Ike in one box. And she was like, "Oh, but do you have the green ones?" And I was like, "Well, we might have some up front. I don't know if they're the green ones, but if we do have them, they're in like really tiny packaging." And so she was like, "Okay, can I see them?" And she was like, Are they the green box?" Wow. That's really sweet of you. Thank you. I didn't want to see it today either. Sorry, biker, but you're not a car, so me first. So I took her up to the front where we would have the little boxes of Mike and Ike's, and I say, "Oh, it doesn't look like we have the green ones, but we have light pink, blue, red, and like a darker pink of the box colors." And she was like, "Oh, okay." And so she didn't get any of those. She ended up getting some sugar babies and some gummy worms. So even though I'm pretty confident the flavors in the green box were in all of the other boxes, but you know, whatever. And so she's like, "Okay, can I put my stuff up on the counter?" I was like, "Yeah, for sure, I'll get you over on one." And so she puts those there and she's like, "Oh, but I'm not done yet." And I say, "Okay." And so she leaves her stuff there, and so like I'm waiting there now because I gotta wait for her to come back. And so she goes over to where the drinks are kept, and so she's staring. She says, she's at the first refrigerator, and she says, "Do you guys have any White Claw?" And she says, just like that, in the classic, "Oh, you drink White Claw" voice, "Do you guys sell White Claw?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, it's gonna be in the top left corner right there." And then she went and looked 3 fridges down towards the right. So that was my first concern. And so I walked over to her and I was like, "Okay, they're gonna be over here, right up at the top here." And she's like, "Oh, okay, thanks." And then we start walking back to the register. She was like, "Sorry I'm being so difficult." And I was like, "Oh, don't even worry about it, you're all good." Because I was like, I'm just here. I just gotta get you out of here, lady. You know? And so I ring her up. I ring her up because this is where it gets funny. I ring her up, and then I ask, we get like halfway through, and I ask for her ID for the drinks, and she's like, "Oh." And then my manager comes over just because she's in the area, and she just comes over to pet the puppy, I think. Yeah, she came over to pet the puppy, which he was so sweet. He was such a little sweetie. Okay. And so she was like, "Oh, I really got to go to the bathroom." And then my manager was like, "Oh, do you want to pay first?" She was like, "No, I want to go to the bathroom." It was like out of nowhere. This is the first time she had said anything. And so my manager walks over to let her in the bathroom because you need a key for it. And so she lets her in, and then she comes back over and she's like, "I think she went on the floor." And I was like, "What?" She's like, she had to go to the bathroom. "I think she went on the floor." And I was like, "Okay, wow, that's interesting." And then, like, completely unfazed, the lady just comes back out. And she's like, I'm so sorry about that. And then tries to kick the wetness under, like, more towards the register counter, you know? So, like, you can picture where a register is, where that meets the floor. She tried to push it under there, except there's no room. So she gets back up to the register. Before she went to the bathroom, she put a 20 down on the counter to, like, start to pay. And that's why my manager was like, so do you want to pay first? And she was like, no, I really gotta go to the bathroom first. And so, all that, and then she comes back, she tries to kick the wetness under the counter, except that doesn't work because there is no under the counter. So she just scoots it around on the floor, making a bigger mess. A bigger mess. And so I'm like, okay, you're all good. Don't even worry about it. And then I say, can I scan the ID for you? Because I didn't get to before she went. And so I scanned it for her, and I was like, okay, that's going to be $23.11. Because this wasn't that long ago, I do remember. I said, that's going to be $23.11 for you. And she was like, okay, I put a 50 down on the counter. And I was like, no, you gave me a 20, so we need $3.11 left. And she was like, no, I put a 50 down. I was like, well, no, this 20 is all you've given me so far. And she was like, she started to look through her little bag, and she was like, are you sure? I could have sworn I put a 50 down. And I was like, yep, just this 20 so far. And, like, I wasn't going to say anything, because I didn't want to be like a creep and say, I'm looking in your purse as well. But I could see that she had a 50 in there. So she didn't give it to me. It's still in her purse, but I didn't say that. And then she gave me a 5. So it was $23.11 out of 25, whatever. And then she left. And then it was quite the mess on the ground that I had to clean up. But, you know, she's just a girl. What can I say? What can I say? I could say a lot. I could say a lot. But I won't. We're gonna hold this just because we're going uphill now. And on to the rude guy. Now, the rude guy came before the White Claw girl, but I just wanted to tell it because I wanted to tell her first because it happened more recently. So the rude guy, I welcome him in. Okay, I'm just gonna be blurry for the rest of this, and we're all gonna have to deal with it because I'm tired. I want to get inside, but I want to get my story out. So the rude guy, I see him come in, I welcome him in, I'm hanging something up because it's my job, and so I say, welcome in, and he goes straight to the counter. So I'm like, okay, I have a second, because I'm literally right next to my register. I'm just hanging something up, right? And then, like, he didn't give me 30 seconds before he was like, hello, does anybody work here? Nope. This store is run by itself. Nobody works here. Sorry, I guess I gotta go home for the night. So that already threw me in a bad mood because I welcomed him in. I said, hi, welcome in. I was nice. I was friendly. Does anybody work here? And I turn around. Like, I hadn't moved from where I welcomed him in, and he looked at me in the same spot. Okay. So, I turn around, I smile, and he says, oh, there you are. And I was like, yeah, what can I get for you? And he got a little 2-pack of zigzags or something. I don't know, and I frankly don't care that much. No, he got 3 packs of those. Okay. He got 3 packs of those. He got 3 packs of zigzags, and so I start ringing him up. Already in a little bit of a bad mood because, literally, dude, you weren't up there that long. I can understand calling for someone after a minute, you know? Because we do need to be, like, snappy with it. But he didn't give me 30 seconds to walk up there when I was done hanging my thing up. Anyway, I scan them. I scan one of them because you have to scan ID after you scan the first thing. It won't let you do more than one. So you scan the first thing, you say, I scan the ID for you? And then he was like, I left my ID out in the pickup. But my birthday is, like, it was a 5-something-68. And I was like, okay, I do at least need to see an ID, though. And he was like, really? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, okay, I guess I'll go get it out of the pickup. And it's not like he parked that far away. He parked directly out front of the door. And I only know that because I watched him get into his car when he left. He parked directly in front of the door. And so it was not that long of a journey for him. He's like, I guess I'll go get it from the pickup. I said, okay, thank you. Thank you. Yeah. And he came back in. He gives it to me. I scan it. And then I scan the other 2 packs. And he was like, you know, if you had to guess, how old do you think I am? And I look at him and I'm like, I don't know. You know, I actually really hate guessing games. So, and he was like, yeah, well, I'm just trying to get you to use some common sense, you know. I'm definitely old enough. I'm way older than 18. And I was like, well, you gotta be 21 anyway. So, I didn't even say that. I was so upset. I just said that in my head. But he was like, I'm way older than 18. And I was like, yeah, you know, I'm just following the rules. I don't want to get fired or anything. And he was like, yeah, you know, I get it, but you gotta tell your managers. Everybody hates showing you their ID. And I was like, oh, they know. And he was like, yeah, because, you know, I gotta speak up because if I don't, no one will. And I was like, thinking in my head, this opinion is one of the most popular opinions, okay? You don't have to speak up about it. Everybody does. Thank you so much. So, I was like, yeah, you know, they know, and it's not even their choice either. It's their bosses, and their bosses' bosses. It's just the system. He was like, yeah, you know, I'm not trying to be a jerk here. And I was like, okay, but you are. Didn't say that again. But, he's like, well, he also didn't say jerk, but I'm not going to say what he did say because I'm just a little lady, you know, and I won't stoop down to that. He says, I know it's the system, but, you know, I got to speak up for the people. And then someone in line behind him, he was like, yeah, if you don't speak up, it'll never change. And that's just how it is in this country these days. And I was like, okay, no one's asking you for one, and for two, this rule has been in place for so long. The scanning rule is a new thing, I'll give you that. But you've at least had to show your ID for many years now. Many years now, dude. Get used to it. Sorry you had to walk out to your truck because you didn't want to bring it in with you, okay? People. Well, yesterday I just had a memorable customer, and I didn't like it because everybody's getting sick. Everybody's buying cough medicine, cough drops, like the Dayquil, NyQuil combo. I'm like, okay. And then this guy just straight up gets real close, and he just, like, breathes out on my face. And that was disgusting. Held my breath. Didn't like it. And so far I don't feel sick, but that was only yesterday, so my fingers are crossed. I am washing my hands, thank you for asking, and I have been hand sanitizing every 5 minutes or so, just because the store's gross, and the people are gross, and their money is gross, and I don't know why it's also grimy. Working has made me a germaphobe, and also a people-phobe, so I think I just need to win the lottery, so I don't have to work anymore. Okay, thank you, bye-bye.